We deal with enough complications in life. We need more simple in our life. Our guest is here to share how you can look better, feel better, and gain confidence simply. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, transformational coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible, leveraging podcasts and the huge audience on the Gnostic TV network. Today, we are chatting with Andrew Paletto. Andrew is a certified trainer, writer, speaker, entrepreneur, podcast host, son, brother, and uncle. He started Top Fitness Strategies as he felt there was a void in the, let's just say, older folks demographic for information and online help to improve their overall health and fitness. He is also the host of the podcast Top Fitness Strategies. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you
Hey,
here, Drew.
thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this. It should be a lot of fun today.
It should be. So, in our third season, which we just rolled into recently, I'm starting to ask everybody this one big question. And I already told
Okay.
you what
Should
it
I should
was.
should I be scared?
Well, that's why I tell people before we start
Gotcha.
rolling, so we don't just like ambush you with it. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go for
Okay.
it.
What's the most significant thing, in your opinion, as individuals we can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
Probably the best thing I would come up with is to treat yourself as an individual correctly. And by that I mean you only have one life to live. You only have one body on this planet. However, you think the body, the human race got here, it's irrelevant. There's only one of you. Take care of it. The better you can take care of it, the more of an impact you can have. If you're not taking care of your body, guess what? You're not going to have impact anywhere. So take care of yourself and go from there. Start with yourself.
So, as a fitness coach, and
Hmm.
you're primarily aiming at the older folks, but
Right.
apparently you're a high school coach as well.
I currently at the time of this recording, I teach at a local high school, yes, but not in the fitness realm. I teach a different subject altogether.
Okay, so you have an influence over the younger generation to kind of
Yes.
help them understand the importance of starting early because it's really hard if you start late.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely in my classes we do talk about health and fitness. Yeah. Even though the class itself is not a health and fitness class, I kind
Mhm.
of turn it into one for the younger kids. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
Hard to avoid it.
Yes. Very much so.
When you see the damage that can come down the road just
That's
from not
right.
starting
That's
early
right.
enough.
Yeah.
So have you always been really into fitness, or did this start later in life?
Well,
How did you
yeah,
get there?
yes and no. I mean, just like most of us, and I say most of us because not everybody's like this. I was an athlete in high school, and it carried on to college for a couple of years. I thought I was good enough to play college ball, but I wasn't. So man, I played baseball. And well, I wasn't, but I played for a couple of years. And after sitting the bench for a while, I'm like, this isn't for me. But because of that, I was constantly working out, being in shape, doing physical activity, as every high school athlete and college athlete does, whether they realize it or not. After that, then I started going to the gym with my buddies because that was the cool thing to do back in your 20s after college because everyone who was an athlete thinks they know everything about the gym. Especially us guys, or guys are like that. Then life happened. I moved from place to place, job, family, blah blah blah, and I found myself around 35, 40, out of shape, but still thinking I was the athlete of yesteryear. And I started going back to the gym, and it was a completely different experience. Couldn't lift as much, couldn't run as far, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. I'm like, hey, what happened? Just yesterday, I was an athlete. And I said, wait a second. Yesterday was, 20 years ago. One of
Right.
those kind of things. So then once I hit the age of 45, fast forward quite a bit here. Again, life still happened, job, family, situations, blah, blah, blah. Basically wrap it all in one. Like I say, life happens. At 45 is when it hit me one day. I was like, I'm not the 21-year-old, the 25-year-old I used to be. Why do I want to continue to act like it at the gym? And that was just the way I looked at it. So I started talking to some of my friends the same way. I said, you know what? How do you guys feel at this age? Because we're all about the same age, give or take a few. And most of them were saying the same thing I was. It's not like we were back in the day everything with the family, with the time commitment that we don't have anymore like we used to. We're just not the same. But in our heads, we thought we could still go to the gym and bench press the same amount, curl the same amount we used to do, and all that good jazz. But in reality, we couldn't. So I told myself, there's a market out here, and that's when I decided I was going to get my personal trainer's license. Started getting different credentials to understand more what I'm working with the people my age. So I tell folks all the time that I'm working with, and I know I'm condensing everything really, really, really quickly here. Um, at our age, if your goal is to just, and it's my tagline as well, look better, feel better, gain some confidence, I'm your guy. If your goal is to show off your body on stage somewhere, which is a fantastic goal to have, don't think it's not. I mean, at any age, it's a great goal to have. The way I teach, the way I train, the way I come across probably isn't going to get you there. I know people that can get you there. That's a whole different mentality. So let's just work on getting you that one step you need to be better tomorrow than you were today. Let's forget about the on-stage presence. Let's forget about the how we looked back in high school and college presence. Let's just work on what we have now. See if we can mold that a little bit to make us, for lack of a better term, more happy tomorrow. If that even comes across the correct way, does that make sense?
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And it's I- it, there's maybe 1% of the population in our age group that's thinking about, I want to have that rock hard body and go on
Mm-hmm.
stage.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 99% of us out there that are just like, we're just trying to preserve muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even for the guys, build a little more muscle mass. And it is possible after 50 to still be buff. I mean, you're in
Mm-hmm.
really good shape,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you don't have to have that six pack and rock hard
Well,
body.
no, there's a lot of people my age, and yes, and I'll just say I'm over 50. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to get into the details about that. Over 50. A lot of guys and also ladies who get out of breath bending over to tie their shoe.
Yeah. If they
That's
can
just,
bend over and tie their
yeah,
shoes.
yeah. And that's just not healthy when you think about it. And I used to say this until recently, and somebody just like yourself says, only about 1% of the population wants to get that buff body, blah blah blah. I used to say, yeah, everybody wants a six pack abs, everybody wants the James Bond or James Bond girl body coming out of the water. Well, I was talking to some over 60-year-olds, male and female, says no, that's not what we want. Yeah, so I cut back on that because the clientele I deal with online, my peers, they all look like that. I don't, but they all strive for the six pack abs. They all strive for the 3% body fat type thing. But no, no, not everybody does. So I had to step back and take a look at, okay, my clientele does not it's not doesn't want to work for that because they know at this point in life it's probably not going to happen. So let's just focus on what we can do versus the dream that's so far away that we can't comprehend it. And
I
I'm
know
not
that
poo-pooing that.
you can't comprehend it so much as, are you willing to give up what you have to give up in order to achieve it? At
See,
this point in life, I'm not, I like chocolate.
mhm. And
So sue me.
there lies the problem, especially for us guys. I don't know why I got a pen, especially for us guys. we a lot of guys that I deal with that are not my friends, that they're my clients, all right, not people I grew up with and stuff like that. The guys especially have the mental attitude like, you know what? I was in high school, I was in college, I was an athlete back then. I know how to do this. So what if I'm 400 pounds now? A couple of sit-ups here, a couple of weeks of the proper diet, and I'll be back in fighting shape in no time. Well, that ain't going to happen right away. Can it happen? Sure, it's going to take a heck of a lot of work. And if that's something you're willing to do, we can work on it. But let's just focus a little bit at a time to get you to that next step. Next step. Let's make it so and I use this example all the time. Let's make it so you're not out of breath when you tie your shoe. Let's focus on that, and then we'll get to the next hurdle.
I think a lot of times as we get older, we lose muscle mass and
Yes.
metabolism happens in your
Oh,
muscles.
absolutely. Yes.
And most people don't really realize that. And as
Mm-hmm.
you lose muscle mass, it cuts down in your ability to lose all that weight really fast. It's like those young guys in high school, and guys could lose weight faster than women, but because they have more muscle on their body than women
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
traditionally. And women, we're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit of fat. not a lot, not as much as most women have these days, but ideally you have enough to be able to bear children, because if you get too
Right.
skinny, you stop having that ability.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's all about the muscles and
Pretty much.
building muscles responsibly.
Yeah, and the key word there is responsibly. If you're wanting to build muscles, if you want to get those great big biceps, yeah, can you still do it after age 50? Of course you can. Is that realistic? Well, it depends on the time commitment you want to put into it. The way I present things, a half hour to an hour workout 3 to 5 times a week. With that kind of productivity, you're not going to get I should say with that kind of time commitment, you're not going to get the 24-inch pythons, brother. Like the old Hulkster used to say. You probably won't get that. You have to have more of a commitment. Can you do that? Absolutely, you can do it. You and I were talking off air. You have somebody very close to you, male, who's pretty buff. Yeah, he
My
does it.
husband,
But I bet he spends a little more time than a half hour to an hour, 3 days a week at a gym.
he actually, well, he spends 3 hours 3 times a week at the
There
gym.
you go. Okay,
But
there you go. Yeah.
part of that is like in the sauna and in the
Okay.
tanning booth, talking to his friends. But he also he pays attention to his diet, because
Hmm.
diet is a large part of this.
Absolutely, it
And
is.
he
Yes.
also understands that you need to rest, and he has a system, and he works different muscle groups on different days. It's not like
Hmm.
we go to the gym and we slam it hard and we're doing all this stuff. That doesn't
Right.
work. It's a good
He
way to
has a
hurt
plan. Right.
yourself.
He has a plan. Absolutely. Yes. You need to have a plan. If you haven't been working out or doing any kind of physical activity last 10, 15, 20 years, you can't just start right back up and think you're going to do it like you did back in the day. The body
Yeah.
just doesn't work that way. Can you build up to it? Sure, but it's going to take a little bit longer. One, because we're getting up there in age, and it's our body isn't as resilient as it used to be. Now, the human body is a wonderful, wonderful machine. I mean, push, pull, bend, stretch, does all this, and as long as you treat it the right way, it's going to respond the right way. So if you don't treat it the right way, guess what? You think you're not going to respond, and therefore you're not going to be able to get to whatever level you want to get to.
Or you'll get hurt and then you'll stop,
Absolutely, you'll get hurt.
and
Yes.
you start all over again,
Mm-hmm.
if you're even motivated to start all
Yep.
over again once you get hurt when you're older,
Yep.
because recovery is a thing.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is.
So what are your thoughts for helping people who maybe have been letting the fitness aspect of their life slide? Where would you say they should start?
If this, it's all a mental thing. You have to start by accepting the fact that your life is going to change, time wise, lifestyle wise. Once you decide that mentally, then the sky's the limit. Then you can do whatever you want to at that point. Working out wise, I mean, maybe not like you used to. When I say whatever you want to, I mean, if you want to go to the gym for a half hour, you want to spend 3 hours like your husband. It's great, but you have to put your mind in the game because it's completely different. If you haven't done it for 20 years, you are way out of the realm of mentally putting that time commitment in. So you have to first realize that it's going to be uncomfortable at first, just like anything new is. You start a new job, it's uncomfortable at first. You move to a new area, it's uncomfortable at first. Same thing with working out. It will be uncomfortable at first. You have to, I don't want to say force yourself to do it, but mentally prepare yourself. Okay, at 4 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to hit the gym and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. At 9 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get up and do it. I'm not going to like it, but I got to get in the habit of doing it. It's just going to be a whole different process at first, and once you get the mental part of it, everything else is going to start happening in the way you like it to.
Do you talk to people about coming up with their why? Because it sounds like you're talking about developing habits. And if you have a
Yeah,
strong enough
to
why, the habit tends to be much more likely to take.
I kind of get away from that a little bit, and here's why. Because
Mhm.
here's why. Why? Why do I get away from the why? Being a have an online business and being associated with different businesses throughout my life, everybody always says, well, you have to put the why in front of you. You have to put your why in front of you. Well, after a while, for me at least, it's almost like it's irrelevant to me what my why is, and that's just me personally. If for me, I can't put that in front of me because it doesn't motivate me. So but I do ask people. I said, for instance, if you're over 50, you might have grandkids. Do you want to play with your grandkids? That's a huge motivational thing for people if they have grandkids, especially. By the time you're 50, your kids are old enough, you're not going to be playing with them so much. But your grandkids different because you want to spoil them. Do you want to go
You
to
just want
that?
to pick them up.
Yeah. Do you want to go to that high school reunion next year and look halfway decent, better than you are now, if you're down on yourself that way? But to put that focus in front of you, I don't coach on the mentality of okay, we're working toward this. I don't coach on the why, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. And if somebody else does, that's fantastic, great, great, go for it. But for me, it was never a motivational thing for myself, so
Mhm.
it's hard for me to expect somebody else to put it in front of them. Now, if they keep telling me, yeah, I want to play with my grandkids, great, absolutely, I'll use that for encouragement all day long. Yeah, whatever I can to help the encouragement. But I don't. To answer your question, no, I don't follow that philosophy of coaching toward the why, is all I could say.
Fair enough. I, everybody has their own
Absolutely.
way of helping people,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
and I agree with you. The why doesn't. I always try to think of well, what's my why? I'm in the process of doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't care what my why is. I just want this result. I'm result oriented more than
There you
why
go. Yep.
oriented.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm kind of
Fantastic. Yep.
wired the same way you. I can totally understand that, actually.
Finally, somebody can understand it. Thank you.
So how do you actually work with people? Is it online? Is it in groups? Is it
Usually it's
one-on-one?
online. A few of my friends locally, I do on a one-on-one, but usually if my clientele is spread out around the country, even possibly around the world at some points, I work with them like we're doing here via some sort of online video chat mechanism. That seems to be easiest. I mean, it used to be by phone call, but that's still there. But this is so much more easier. You can see somebody face to
Yeah.
face, eye to eye, so to speak. So that's mainly how I do it. A lot of what I do, they have to want to do it. And I'm roundabout way getting to the thing of motivation because people say, well, how do you motivate people? I don't. I cannot motivate them. There's nobody on this planet, trainer wise, I cannot motivate you. I can, and by that I say I cannot get you off the couch. You have to do that. But once you get off the couch, I can feed that or fuel that motivation to get you to the next place. But to start off with, nobody on this planet can motivate you to get off the couch. That's something internally. That's a mental thing I keep telling people. After that, yeah, then Katie bar the door, baby. We're gonna go for it.
So how do you actually work with them? Do you come up with routines? Do you come up with diets? How does all that look?
I keep things extremely as simple as I possibly can. I want to
Mhm.
if all they want to do is walk around the block, we'll walk around the block. If they want to do at home workouts, we'll do at home workouts. If they want to do body weight, gym workouts, whatever, we'll do that. So I want to find out what they are comfortable of doing because if they're not comfortable doing it, and I'm not talking about, I feel this ache if I do a curl. Well, first of all, stop. If it's a painful type of hurt, stop. But if it's the muscles saying, hey, what's going on here? It doesn't feel right. If you giggle while you're doing it because your muscles hurt, that's called DOMS, which is a funny kind of laugh and we'll do that right. We'll do that. But nutrition wise, keep things as simple as I possibly can. I say cut back on sugar, cut back on salt, drink more water, focus on getting a little more protein. I don't like to count calories. If you want to, great, we can get into it. I don't. If you want to count grams of stuff, great, we can get into it. I don't. I'll read what's on the package. Okay, this has so many grams of protein. Fantastic. And I said, let's shoot for a number per day of grams of protein. great if you want to do that. If not, just focus on eating more protein. But the main thing, drink more water, less salt, less sugar. We'll get those three things going, and you'll see some big differences without getting into the mental game of trying to measure out everything. Which, if you do,
Yeah,
that's
just
great. I'm not built that way. I cannot measure out my food. It drives me nuts if I do that. It's a demotivation thing for me.
I have a problem where I'm a good cook,
There
but
you go.
as a cook, you can't look at the back of the package. So I'm finding myself writing all the ingredients down and, figuring out what portion of the thing it is. And then you have to add all the calories up. And it was a big deal to figure out, like, if you're making a complicated meal that has a sauce, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and other components to it. It's like you're spending
Hey,
more time
hey,
figuring out what the calories are in this thing and the macro and micronutrients than you are just making the thing and eating it.
hey, try doing it with an Italian mother, huh? You're
Yeah,
not. It
you
ain't gonna
know.
happen. You're not gonna eat the second portion. What? What's going on with you? What's going on? And same thing with the Hispanic mother. No, 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 no. You sit down. You're gonna eat, and you're gonna eat a lot at those kind of tables. Absolutely. So. And I also have some very good friends personally that are not in the industry and ones who are in the industry who are very meticulous at counting every little calorie, every little drop that goes bite of food that goes into their mouth, which is great. If that's what you want to do, knock your
If
socks off.
they
Like
want
I
to be
said,
rock hard bodies, you got to do
I
it.
drive me nuts if I had to do that, and it's a demotivator if I had to do that. Do I watch what I eat? Sure, absolutely. Do I occasionally have the pizza and beer? Oh, absolutely. I'm a guy. Of course, we're going to do that. You got a game on? Hey, give me a beer. Absolutely. But again, my motivation or my end goal is again not to show off my body on stage, is to make myself healthier tomorrow than I was today. Yeah, pizza and beer ain't gonna do it. You're right, it's not, but it's part of life. I'm not gonna change my entire lifestyle just to get a better tomorrow. I shouldn't. I should wait a second. I'm not gonna. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna keep a part of my lifestyle that I enjoy. All right. So I say, yes, I will change my lifestyle, but I'm going to also keep that little bit of my lifestyle that I enjoy so I can enjoy life. I hope I'm
Yeah,
saying
you
that
get
right.
to this you get to
Am I?
this
Am I?
point in life where it's like you have all the knowledge. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know what it would take in order for me to be stage ready, but I'm not willing to do what that would take.
Mm-hmm.
I, at this point in my life, I'm happy. I I eat well, I exercise, I can lift my grandkids up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sustainable for me.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
I
and
I
that's
used to say a long time ago, I said, we're adults, we know what we should eat to get in better shape. But then it hit me one day when I was talking to a friend of mine. He says, no, I really don't know. I mean, outside of, eating salad and drinking water, I don't know what to eat. I'm thinking, that completely freaked me out mindset wise. Again, because I'm in this industry and I deal with people who are my peers in this industry. So of course we know what we should and shouldn't, what we should eat. But then I said, you know what? We're adults. We know what we shouldn't eat to be healthier. For instance, if you drink beer and eat pizza every night, we shouldn't do that if you're going to be healthy. Of course, we know how to do that. Cut back on the alcohol. Yeah, that's not going to make us healthy. But what do we replace it with? Well, for right now, we replace it with some water. Cut back on the pizza. What do we replace it with? Eat some vegetables. Eat some protein. Forget the second, third, fourth slice of pizza. Back off on it a little bit. We know we shouldn't eat that to be healthy. So let's focus on cutting back on the things that we shouldn't eat, that we know we should not eat, and we'll work on what we should eat later on. But let's cut back on the bad stuff, and we'll start replacing it with the good stuff little by little.
yeah, it's just I like the replacement thing
Mm-hmm.
because I find that it's easy to get into bad habits, but if you
Yeah.
have something to replace that bad habit with that's good and gives you the same kind of like happy feeling when you're doing it. Like
Oh yeah.
I replaced ice cream with an apple, which is a silly thing. Apples are really sweet, and there's got so many varieties now.
Hmm.
And my dog likes to eat the core, so we have
Oh,
this
there you go.
thing at night where he watches me eat my apple in anticipation of eating the core.
Is it going to be simple to do? No. If you like ice cream, you know you shouldn't have it. You want to eat, you're going to replace it with the apple. Mentally speaking, yeah, your body's going to say, "Hey, wait a second here. Where's the ice cream I'm used to? You got this apple thing. I don't know if I like this or not." So, first, your body's going to not really reject it, but it's going to give you that funny feeling, like, "Hey, something's off here." I like the apple stuff coming in, and it works the same way as the other opposite way too. If you're constantly eating healthy and apples, salad, protein, water, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden, for 2 or 3 days, you start eating a gallon of ice cream a day, eating a couple of pizzas a day, your body's going to say, "Oh, hey, hey," and it's going to give you that feeling of, sluggishness. I don't like this. What am I doing to myself? But your body's going to adapt to the bad way, as just like your body will adapt to the good way. So you will have that change. You will have that funny feeling, lack of a better term, regardless if you're going from good to bad or bad to good. So which way would you rather have it? Would you rather get to the good or get to the bad? I just thought of that too.
Personally, I'm gonna pick the good. Not that I never eat ice cream, but I
Right,
think
right.
also as you get older, if you become aware of how things affect you, I,
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I've experienced that where it's just like
Yes.
I can eat ice cream, but I'm going to have a consequence for it. And
Mm-hmm.
do I want that consequence? No,
Mm-mm.
when I could just eat the apple and give my dog some happiness too. To really, because that's the thing.
Got to have the
The
doggies in there
apples.
too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I, I I know everybody's different, and
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, they are.
like but there are ways that you can do things and replace things and not feel like you're having to give things up. I'm a big proponent of you don't have to give things up. You just need to move in a different direction.
There you
And
go.
that
All right.
those things on the side will kind of fall away and not be part of your life anymore. But it's not like I'm avoiding that. Because when you start telling yourself you can't, God, you just want it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I when it comes to nutrition, yeah, I don't like you said the word can't or you can't have that. Well, yeah, I can. I'm an adult. Yes, I can. But is it going to move me to the next phase of feeling better for myself?
Right.
Short term, yeah, I eat those dozen wings, absolutely. But how am I going to feel for it tomorrow? Probably, yeah. So do I want to feel that way tomorrow? Then I tell myself maybe eating a dozen wings isn't going to help me. Maybe just back off. Maybe just have six, and instead of 2 or 3 beers, maybe have one. Am I still? Is it still unhealthy? Yeah, still unhealthy, but it's not as unhealthy. And
And you're
I hope
moving in
I hope I'm telling this right.
and you're moving in a direction that will allow you to open up for other things to come in. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, maybe you're not full, so you have a little more salad rather than the other six wings
Or an apple.
or an apple. I'm really big on apples.
Apples, pears, peaches. Yum 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 yum
I have
yum.
all these fruit trees in my backyard, and,
Good for you.
and God, they were so prolific last year. I had so many peaches and apples, and oh, it's just like summer's coming.
There you go.
So I know that you have Inside Out Top to Bottom fitness program, which is
Hmm.
an offer that you make to people. Do you want to talk a little bit
Right.
about that?
Yeah, this is and actually it's an ebook that I wrote a long, long time ago. One of the first books I've written several books online, and I used to sell it quite a bit online. And it's a 3 week at home workout program. It's very, very, very basic. It can either be a stepping stone to get you started to the next level of going to a gym, or it can enhance what you're doing at the gym. It's basically all body weight stuff. It doesn't require any kind of weights. It's very basic, very simple. But I want you to get into the habit of doing it. And also the nutrition plan I come up with. Again, it's not really a plan. I'm not telling you how many calories or how many grams of fat. I'm just, like you said, a replacement method. That's what I basically walk you through it in the book. And if you take those concepts, take what I tell you to do in there, it's going to springboard you to, well, the design is to springboard you to the next thing if you do it. If you don't do it, of course it won't. But that's my gift to you. And if it's for you, great. If it's not, no problem. I have both the book is free, and if you want the audio portion, that's part of it as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And people can get that by going to um,
Top,
topfitnessstrategies.com.
correct.
You can find it over there as well.
Yep, yep, yep.
And we'll make sure that we put that link in the show notes.
Thank you.
And they can also get in touch with you through your website. And if they
Absolutely,
want
yeah,
to
yeah,
talk to you about how working with you would look.
yeah. Most social media platforms you can find me at either Top Fitness Strategies or at Andrew Paletto, or you can go to topfitnessstrategies.com and I link to everything through there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew.
Thank you
It's
for
been
having
great
me.
chatting with
Appreciate
you.
it. It's been great.
And if you would like to learn more about what Andrew's doing and get access to his inside out, top to bottom fitness program, please visit topfitnessstrategies.com and we'll be sure to link to that in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you have a podcast or you're interested in starting one to get your message in front of our huge and active audience, be sure to reach out to us at jill@gnostictv.com. We love to help spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice and monetize their mission and offer a variety of ways to do this on the Gnostic TV network platform. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.